Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the NatureCity Podcast. I'm your host, Pradelli. I'm also the CEO and co-founder of the company, having started NatureCity over 20 years ago with my wife, Beth, and since then it's been our honor to have served over 500,000 Americans by offering them the best supplements we can make. Today, we're going to be discussing the digestive health issue coined as leaky gut syndrome. Leaky gut is not a recognized medical condition, and is a bit of a controversial topic, which we'll explain why in a moment. What leaky gut refers to is the dysfunction of the protective intestinal barrier that exists to help prevent unwanted or toxic substances from entering the bloodstream. This barrier is a permeable wall where tight junctions between cells control what leaves the intestines and enters the body. When gaps between cells in the intestinal lining occur and the junctions aren't as tight as they should be, unwanted substances that otherwise wouldn't enter the bloodstream make it through, and that's what's referred to as leaky gut. Every time I think of this intestinal barrier, I picture a fine mesh sieve or a porch screen where the tiny holes keep larger substances out, but if there's a tear in the mesh, the protective barrier is compromised. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has used duct tape to repair a tear or a hole in a screen, at least temporarily. Now, of course, our bodies are much more complicated than this, but this gives you a little bit of a visual. As I mentioned, the topic of leaky gut is a little controversial, and much of the controversy stems from whether the function of this intestinal barrier is a cause of health problems or just a consequence resulting from those health or digestive problems. Now, regardless of who is right, and I imagine it's a little bit of both in terms of cause and effect, since maintaining good intestinal barrier function is associated with better health, most of us should be able to agree that improving measures of good barrier function is a good thing. It's also important to note that the intestinal barrier is the last line of defense as your body protects and controls what gets into the bloodstream. It's a physical barrier, but you also have your immune system, which helps protect you from threats. And on top of this, there's another layer of protection on the interior of the physical intestinal wall, and these are the bacteria that make up the gut microbiome. As you may know, maintaining a healthy balance of good bacteria versus less friendly bacteria is crucial for supporting many aspects of gut health, including immune system function and a healthy inflammation response. A healthy microbiome is also important for the health and normal function of the intestinal barrier we've been discussing. This is also a good reminder that the body works as a system, not a bunch of independent parts. However, by supporting all of the individual parts, we give ourselves the best chance of staying healthy and living well. And that's what it's all about, right? When it comes to supplements, we know that probiotics and prebiotics support the gut microbiome and immune system function, but what about the intestinal barrier function? Well, I want to share two of my favorite supplement ingredients that have compelling scientific data indicating they support healthy intestinal barrier function. The first is a novel fiber called Solnul. It's what's called a resistant starch. Starch typically breaks down into sugar molecules such as glucose. Resistant starch is not broken down by digestive enzymes or the digestive process. It stays intact and functions as an important dietary fiber. Solnul offers many of the benefits you'd expect to see from dietary fiber, like supporting regular healthy bowel movements and also acting as a prebiotic. New science with Solnul indicates it appears to support healthy intestinal barrier function and help protect against leaky gut. For example, a study found that those taking 3.5 grams of Solnul daily for 4 weeks experienced a significant decrease in histamine levels in the blood compared to a placebo group. Histamine is an inflammatory agent, so typically your body limits what gets absorbed into the blood through the intestinal barrier. Thus, the reduction in histamine in the blood is a good indication that Solnul was having a positive impact on the function of the intestinal barrier. And that's not all. Consuming Solnul was also associated with an increase in friendly Akkermansia bacteria in the gut. Now, other types of probiotic bacteria like Bifidobacterium or Lactobacillus, well, they're more well known. You may have heard of L. acidophilus or B. lactis or B. longum. Those are more popular probiotic bacteria, but Akkermansia is now gaining a lot of attention in research circles, particularly for its positive influence on many aspects of metabolic health, including weight management and healthy blood sugar metabolism. Akkermansia also plays a pivotal role in the health of the intestinal barrier. Here's how. On the inside of the intestinal wall is a layer of mucus. Akkermansia feeds on the main component of this mucus, which is called mucin. Increased akkermansia contributes to the optimal thickness of this layer of mucus, which is crucial to intestinal barrier function. Now, other research has indicated that reduced populations of Akkermansia bacteria are associated with poorer function of the intestinal barrier. So, the increase in Akkermansia in the gut is a second indication that Solnul helps support intestinal barrier health function. Now, the second ingredient is the herbal complex called Digexin, which consists of okra and ashwagandha extracts. Digexin is an exciting ingredient which offers a multitude of digestive and mood-supporting benefits, and like Solnul, recent research indicates it too can support the health of the intestinal barrier. Supplementing with Digexin for 60 days led to a significant decrease in zonulin compared to the placebo group. Zonulin is a protein that is believed to increase the permeability of the tight junctions between cells in the protective intestinal barrier. As a result, a decrease in zonulin is an indicator of better intestinal barrier health. Second, those taking Digexin experience an improvement in the blood levels of an enzyme called DAO, which is diamine oxidase. Research indicates keeping DAO levels in a healthy range is correlated with better gut health and intestinal barrier function. One of the things DAO does is help to degrade histamine, which is the inflammatory agent I mentioned earlier. So Digexin is another great ingredient for supporting intestinal barrier function and digestive health in general. We like Digexin and the Solnul fiber so much, we included both of them as part of our digestive health super formula, True DYB, which helps you digest your best. True DYB is formulated with 16 ingredients to support your digestive system from top to bottom and offers a long list of benefits that you should check out at NatureCity.com. This is a new item for us, but I believe it's one of our most important products, so I urge you to give it a try. Again, it's True DYB. You can go to NatureCity.com, and if you have any questions, as always, feel free to contact us. So that's it for this week. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to see future episodes of the NatureCity Podcast, or you can listen to us on your favorite streaming service or an Apple Podcast and also Spotify. This is Pradelli, and I'll see you next week.